You're watching Cable 2.
Welcome to the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Special Subcommittee meeting. This special subcommittee of Board of Education members and community partners is for the purpose of reviewing the school choice program that we have here in Winston-Salem Forsyth. Today is October 8th, 2020. This meeting is being held virtually, and I will turn the meeting over to the chair for the special subcommittee, Mrs. Andrea Bramer.
Hi, good morning. Afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call of the members to establish a quorum?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm sorry, Chair Andrea Bramer. Barbara Burke. And Dana Jones.
Present.
Okay.
I'd like to acknowledge the people on the call who are also on the Board of Education. I know there's Leah Crowley, Marilyn Parker. I'm double checking to make sure we have a lot of people on the call today. And I don't want to miss anyone. And Shea Woodbury, Chair Shea Woodbury's on. And Deanna Kaplan. We do have a host of people from the community that are also here. And we are going to our discussion items, which is the survey review with Adam Hill and Elizabeth Lees from Forsyth Futures. Are they on?
Yes, Adam is here with us. Yes, Adam, do you want to? So let me preface Chair Bramer by speaking a little bit about where we are.
Okay.
We started with shortly after in the spring, with pre-COVID, I would say, with a consultant working with us on a process. We then joined with North Carolina State because we knew we had attendance lines that we needed to review for the new middle school, the new Louisville area middle school. And as we went into the work, the advice was to be sure we integrated the process so that the overlap, one didn't keep the other one or slow the other one. That the attendance line, the work on the zoning of students did not do harm, if you will, to the process of reviewing school choice. So we're at a point now, we've met over the summer and in August, we're at a point now where we are ready to engage or re-engage the planning process around school choice. And we have a timeline. So Adam is here today to talk about the timeline, the survey that was funded by the Winston-Salem Foundation. And then we'll go over some future meeting dates if you're okay with that, so that we can, and those agendas will be more robust. The purpose of today is a shorter agenda to go over and get your approval to proceed with the survey and to move forward with planning the future meeting. Okay, so Adam, do you want to share your screen, or do you want to just unmute and talk about the survey itself and the purpose?
Yeah, sharing my screen would be great. Is it just this arrow?
It seems like it's been forever since we've actually.
It does. It seems like we've almost forgotten this existed, and I'm really glad to see it start back up.
Yeah.
It's a step towards normality.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, good evening, everyone. I think Elizabeth Lees and I are looking forward to kind of jumping back into this project and moving this on to the next phase. Really helping you all get good community responsive and out for a school assignment policy. So I'm actually going to hand it over to Elizabeth Lees. She is the lead researcher on this project, to kind of walk through and give everybody a recap of what we are going to be doing with this community survey. Are you there, Elizabeth?
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam. So just as a reminder for everybody, this is a process, as was mentioned earlier, that has been going on for a little while. As far as what we've been doing is we've been meeting with other communities that have done similar surveys, talking to those researchers, as well as talking to some academic partners at Wake Forest University to get a better idea, start crafting a survey instrument to administer to the community. And our target groups for this survey are current Winston-Salem, Forsyth County school system parents of children 0 to 4, so that would be children who are too young to currently be in the school system, but likely will be as their children get older, school staff, and school volunteers. And Adam, if you could advance to the next slide, excellent. So we've broken the survey essentially up into 3 major sections, and different people are answering different sections depending on what their experiences are with the Forsyth County school system, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system. So the first thing we're asking is perspectives on the current assignment plan, and we're mostly asking parents these questions, though we are asking everybody who answers the survey how familiar they are with the assignment plan, as well as questions about how well they feel like the plan is working. For parents, we're asking them how available information was about the assignment plan as they're making decisions for their children, how satisfied they are with their current schools, whether or not their children attend their residential school, and why not if they're not attending their residential school, and for any barriers that might be keeping students from enrolling at the school that would be their parents' first choice of schools. We're also asking parents about what their assignment preferences are for their families specifically. So we're asking them, when you're choosing a school for your child, what factors and characteristics of those schools are the most important? And when you think about potential plans that could be used for school assignment, what are your family's preferences? As well as what magnet school options are you potentially interested in? Adam, if you could go to the next slide. And then we're also asking everyone who takes the survey for their input on what they think a preferred assignment plan should look like for the county, as well as what are important characteristics of this assignment plan and how the assignment plan process should ideally happen in their opinion. So for example, if somebody doesn't get into their first choice of schools, how should the decision be made as to which school they are assigned to after that? Questions like that, as well as what are reasonable transportation times for students? One thing that we have from our committee notes from the last meeting in the spring is that the committee was interested in hearing back from businesses. We've worked on using this, and we're far enough along in the process of developing the survey instrument that we've been testing it with local residents in the county just to get their feedback on how clear the instrument is and to get some ideas of how people are understanding the questions that we're asking. And one thing that we're finding in administering these types of questions to local business leaders is that there are some questions that some business leaders can very easily answer from their perspective as a business leader. But a lot of the questions are very difficult to answer from a business perspective, and a lot of the business leaders that we've been interviewing in these pilots so far have been referencing their families' perspectives. So what we would recommend, and we'd be interested in input on what type of information specifically you want to get from the business community, but if that perspective is mostly interested in how does school assignment play into workforce development and those types of questions, that a survey may not be the best way to collect that information from the business community, because it's going to be really difficult on the back end to tell when people are answering questions from their interest as a business owner and when they're answering questions from their perspective as a parent or property owner. And Adam, if you could go to the next slide. We also are planning, I think the timeline is still, for exactly when we'll be implementing the survey is still in question, but we have plans to be able to distribute the survey if we need to during the pandemic. And so we would be mostly doing that through a web-based survey. We've been testing the survey with parents in the web-based format from a wide variety of different backgrounds. And so far the survey is working really well for people who are using mobile devices as well as for people who are using their computers. But we do know that for many families, especially those who may not have easy access to internet, this might not be the best way to reach them. So we really want to make sure one of our goals for this project is to get a very clear idea of what Forsyth County families on balance, how they currently feel about the school assignment system and what their preferences are for any adjustments that the school system would make. So these are some of our additional strategies that we're going to be working on to make sure that we get strong representation from everybody in the community. We're doing initial outreach through the school system and email lists. We're planning on having the surveys available in English and Spanish, and especially for some schools, we'll make call-in lines available for people who would prefer to answer the survey questions by phone as opposed to online. We've been looking at some of the areas that have had low census response rates. The Census Bureau has kind of a live tracker on how many people in each area are responding to the online version of their survey. And we're anticipating that places that have had low survey response rates, since that is an online survey, will also likely have low response rates to this survey. And we're going ahead and reaching out to community partners who have relationships in those communities to make sure that we can get their help in inviting parents and letting parents know about this survey and getting their input. Also, if we're still doing it if we do administer the surveys while schools are still virtual, we've discussed with the school system collaborating with them to have opportunities for parents to fill out the surveys at the food distribution sites. And we plan, regardless of when we implement it, on continuously monitoring the response rates on the back end. And we'll make adjustments to our distribution plans in real time if we see that there are some communities that aren't being served well or reached through our current communication strategies. And what we would recommend as our timeline for data collection and analysis is 6 weeks for data collection. This will give us enough time if we do start realizing that our efforts aren't reaching specific community members to pivot and hopefully get their participation. And we also would like 4 weeks for analysis and reporting. And that'll be especially important for cleaning the data, analyzing some of the comments to open-ended questions, and making sure that our sample is balanced at the end. And that, I believe, is the whole presentation. Unless, Adam, do you have anything to add?
Nope, I think that's what we had for now. So I think we're looking to you for guidance on kind of timing specifics.
So we have a start date. Haman's not on this call, but we had a start date of October 21st, I believe. The survey's already been approved, and we had a start date of the 21st, and it would go through the 6-week period, as she mentioned, hopefully before that. So we wanted to see if anybody had any challenges with us starting on the 21st and moving through November with the survey.
No, this is Board Member Jones. I'm good with the timeline.
I'm good with the timeline as well. Does anybody else have any concerns?
Can I just add from a parent's perspective? This is Katie Sonnenly. That's a really tumultuous time with this challenge, with the transition back to Plan B and all of that for parents. I just don't want this to get lost in the shuffle and suffer lower return rates. And also, frankly, I haven't been in my child's school in 8 months, 7 months, so I don't really know how to answer a lot of these questions right now. I'm really glad that we're looking at the choice plan, but I just think, as you all know, right now it's a lot. But especially that time frame, that October, mid-October to mid-November, is exactly when everybody's going back to going back to school.
Well, we actually held off for that reason because there was so much going on. And at this time, the Louisville area middle school is scheduled to be opened, scheduled for the fall. And we have to have public hearings for attendance lines. And based on the timeline, if we don't get started now, we can pretty much say we'll wait till next year because, we waited about as long as we could wait, unfortunately. And we felt that because we'll transition students back through February, high school students won't come back until January. So the transition period is long. And I think, to be honest, I can't say I know personally Adam Hill, but I do know his work and I know his dedication. And I feel that if and he knows the numbers that we must get in order to have the survey be valid. So we're at a point now where we can push it out further, but it will hinder the results because we have pushed. We thought about the summer, we thought it would get lost, and
I mean, it is a confusing time, but if we hold off, this is going to go all the way to the middle of December. And if we hold off much longer, it's going to, we definitely are going to run into problems next year and the following semester.
This is Board Member Burke. I think that we do need to extend the time up through the, at least until the middle of December, because there's a lot going on right now and parents are really still trying to make decisions about what to do right now with their kids and their schools. And they're confused, and we're gonna have to wait until we get a handle on what's going on today in order to give this an opportunity for some good data and for us to have target groups that we can look at a balance of firm for the survey. So I would recommend that we wait until the middle of December, extend it until then.
Well, we just did it 2 weeks.
the 6 weeks puts us to the middle of December.
It does.
Puts us right at December 9th, 10th in that area, 1 week before the winter break. So it does put us in the middle of December.
If we added the 1 week, it takes us all the way to the break.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be that big of a difficulty?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I think that, just adding 1 week might get us through all the way to the winter break, and then people aren't going to be thinking about it anyway.
Mm-hmm. But it's December 9th, so adding that extra week is not a problem. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm looking to see if anybody has any hands up, and I don't see any currently at this moment.
Michelle Crane.
Michelle Crum.
Yeah, Michelle Crum.
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a parent and I'm a community member on the group, and I just want to say I do agree with Hairston getting the survey going. I think parents are waiting for it. It's been talked about for a number of years, and everyone can see the construction going on at Louisville. And I do agree, maybe take it out into 6 weeks to let everyone, but from a parent perspective who's been in the district a long time, we're all looking forward to getting the ball rolling and getting the process started. Even with all the intense decision of remote and in person and everything, I just think that we do need to get this going. And I mean, especially if the new middle school is opening up in the fall, we've got to go on that. So that's just another parent perspective, just to let you know.
I agree, and by actually moving forward on it, it's like acknowledging that eventually someday we will be out of this method and into something real. I mean, not that this isn't real, it is real, but we're going back towards a more consistent in-person schooling. Well, if no one has any further questions, do we want to go over the timeline?
With the calendar for future, do you have that, Lisa? Do you want to pull that out? Give me just a minute. So November 12th will be just an update. Tell us, give us an update on how the survey is going, what numbers we're looking at, what can we anticipate. Probably if we're going to push the survey out, we can schedule a January meeting. So rather than having a December meeting, we would have a January meeting to look at the results. That would give us winter break to look at the results. Since everyone's on the call now, it'd be a good idea for us to look at a date, and then February at each month, and that's, we did not schedule April yet, but we may schedule April, so that was sort of in line. And I'd like to propose a date for January, perhaps we could look at January 20th, which would give us plenty of time. If you all could look at your calendars and see if there's a conflict there, but January 20th will replace December 10th, simply because the survey will be pushed out an additional week. And if that's okay, Lisa could change it on the screen now, and we can have our dates. And this is not for a vote, it's just a consensus around. Do you all feel comfortable with? It would be January 20th, Lisa. Do y'all feel comfortable with these dates and this timeline? Do you want to add additional dates, Ms. Primer?
Is January 13th a possibility?
It is, It is.
This is purely for selfish reasons. It's my husband's birthday on January 20th, and if I voluntarily sacrifice his birthday, I don't think he's going to be thrilled.
Want to push it back a week?
I think that pushing it up a week would be probably a good medium. We got rid of the December, but it's still the same kind of second week time frame.
That's not a problem. I think people will be back on the 11th, so the 13th is fine.
Thank you. Does
So-
anyone else have any comments on the dates of information?
I'm good. I'm good with those.
Are there any board members or community members that have any questions about the survey or the dates of the meeting?
They're basically on a Thursday except for the 13th, correct? Of January. That's a Wednesday.
Yep. And that's all we had on our agenda, so if we don't have any questions, wait, I do have a
I think we
question.
have some
We do have
folks that have their hands up.
We have Megan Gregory. Megan Gregory able to? Somebody needs to unmute Megan Gregory.
She's muted herself, so I can't unmute her. Can you unmute her, Lisa?
Oh, sure.
She's unmuted. There she is.
There she is.
She's unmuted.
Megan Gregory, can you hear us? Then we have education. I don't know who education is, but we have education. Is there any?
Apologies, this is Emily Shutt, and I'm still working on Microsoft Teams using here. I'm good with Zoom, but not Teams. Sorry about the name. I'm just curious, were we back in whenever that was, February or March, the consultant was there who had kind of results of kind of what he learned from our district. I was wondering if he was going to present any in the future, what the status was on that.
He's waiting on the data. That was the last piece of it, and so hopefully, if we can get that data in December, we'll be able to have the consultant come back in January and start the work of informing us.
Okay, thank you.
Megan Gregory is back. So that we can't hear her.
It looks like she's typed something in the chat. Let's see. Get to it. All right.
What other considerations, research data experience of other districts will you use to make decisions about school assignment plans? I think that comes with consultants.
Right. I think it might be a good idea. We'll get Lisa to send everyone on the call the scope of work from the consultant, and that explains it, just to refresh our memory, because everyone's memory before. So we'll have Lisa send everyone the scope of work, and that will respond to that question. Okay. But great question, I think.
Okay, and do I have any more questions? I'm not seeing any more. If there are no more questions, I guess we can adjourn the meeting and go have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.